Hello everybody, GamerZ here, and I have a very important announcement to make.
PC gaming is dead.
You heard him, guys. According to Harman, PC gaming is dead. That's right, pack up your bags, we're leaving. Doesn't look like you guys are buying it, so I'm gonna drop the act. Hey everybody, GamerZ here, and today I'm gonna be responding to Harman Smith. You may not believe me when I tell you, but this video was actually published in 2017. Yeah, that's right, a year ago, and it looks this atrocious. This is a pretty recent video that I've stumbled across, and I think that a great way to kick things back up from another 2 weeks of not making a response video is to use an anti-PC video as a response. So without further ado, I thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoy.
PC gaming is dead. This is something that a lot of people are in denial about. People have been in denial about this for years, I would say, but PC gaming is very much on the decline.
Oh, by the way, just for funsies, I counted the amount of times that he said like in this video. This is just the stuff that has been obvious in the video. I might have skipped over a few, but he said it 94 times, according to what I've counted. 94 fucking times. Moving along, PC gaming is actually not on the decline. It is very much the opposite. PC gaming has been growing and growing and growing for the past few years. According to Newzoo, PC racked in $32.3 billion in 2017. It was previously estimated that they'd bring in $29.4 billion. And according to GfK, PC gaming has been at this trend for a while now. It is said that their global revenue increased by 55% from last year. However, as is my motto, statistics should be taken with a grain of salt. But even without statistics, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to show that PC gaming is thriving and has been for years.
Companies like Valve, who used to exclusively develop interesting, unique titles for PC for working, educated adults, they've basically stopped existing.
Valve didn't stop existing, they just turned more into a publisher than a developer. And in this industry, that's far from rare. One of the companies that jump to mind, for example, is Activision. They were founded in the 1970s, and when they bought out Infinity Ward in 2003, they became more of a developer than a publisher. EA's another one that jumps to mind. They're becoming more of a publisher than a developer because any game they touch, they're putting microtransactions and loot boxes in, so, that part's becoming more prevalent these days. The point here is just because a developer or publisher suddenly stops being a developer or publisher and switches sides, it doesn't mean that the entire platform that they develop or publish for is dead. See, Valve doesn't own PC gaming. I know a lot of people like to think that way, but Valve is far from a Microsoft or a Sony or a Nintendo. They're just a developer. They're a developer who made a client called Steam that turned into a huge mass distributor of PC games. And it's hardly a monopoly. There's GOG doing the same thing, there's EA's Origin and Ubisoft's Uplay, and those came out relatively recently. So if PC gaming is dying, then why are people making more ways to distribute PC games? Well, let me tell you why. The reason why is because a lot of people still play on PC. There's a lot of profit to be gained if you make and distribute games on PC, because a lot of people are going to buy it. The reason why a lot of people are going to buy it is because PC is still an objectively superior platform to consoles. And quite rapidly at that. It's cheaper and easier than ever to get into PC gaming, and that alone is drawing more people to it.
Pretty much everyone releases games on consoles now too, like PS3, PS4, and Xbox One.
I think this has been said ad nauseum at this point, but it's pretty objective and clear that PC has way more games than console ever hopes to have. First of all, there's no huge corporation you have to sign to put a game onto PC. That makes distributing and publishing your game on PC hassle-free, which is why a lot of developers really like the PC for this aspect. Another thing is anybody can pick up the Unreal Engine, the Unity Engine, or any other engine that you can think of and make their own video game. A lot of these works you can find on Greenlight or GameJolt or itch.io. And a fair amount of them are actually making profits off of what they've made. And these are just indie developers being attracted to PC gaming. A lot of AAA publishers and developers are actually way more interested than they could possibly be because they have the manpower to make a really good quality game, and when they do, they get huge profits from the PC. To put this in perspective, for every console exclusive you can name, we can name 10 more PC exclusives. And that's just off our heads.
Real consoles, I mean, good consoles, I know.
Yeah, this guy obviously has his head on straight. Apparently these new consoles aren't good consoles or real consoles, but PC gaming is dying. How does that work then?
But they do release some consoles, and I know people are like trying to say like consoles are becoming more and more like PCs, but they're still very much consoles, and a lot.
What we mean by that is everything you can do on a console, you can do better on a PC. Adding on to that, you can do more things on the PC than you can do on the console. The only thing from separating a console from a PC is the fact that a console is very closed source. This is one of the main reasons I called the Alienware Alpha a PC instead of console, while calling the Steam Machine mainly a console. But of course that's oversimplifying it. You know, the PC has free online, cheaper games, freedom to do whatever you want with it, whether it's mod, customize, choose a different distributor. Basically freedom. You have freedom on the PC, and on console, that's something you lack. In all other aspects, consoles do resemble PCs. I mean, they have basically the same hardware, they're comparable, and they're technically capable of the same things. It's just that the PC does more than the console can better.
Still very much consoles and a lot more accessible than like owning a gaming PC, you know? Like,
why does everyone think that owning a PC is like owning some really magical rocket science machine that you have to maintain 24/7 or it'll blow up? Really, folks, it's a lot more simple than that. First of all, building your PC isn't that hard. It's like putting Legos together. And hey, in this day and age, I think it's important that everyone knows what's inside their computer and how it all works. You don't have to be a computer scientist or anything, but it can sure save you a hell of a lot of money if something's wrong with your PC and you take it to an expert to try to fix it for you. There have been many instances in the past where experts will take advantage of ill-informed or misinformed individuals in order to make more of a profit. I mean, there was a whole documentary that happened about it a few years ago, I think it was 2001 or 2002, that showed a ton of people getting ripped off because the experts wanted to make some extra money and overcharge on everything, or not even know what the fucking problem was in the first place. Hell, you'd probably be doing yourself a favor even if you didn't have a gaming PC just to see how computers work, just like in a nutshell how they work. We're moving into the 21st century, people. We should know the basics of electronics. In any event, it's still relatively easy to get a pre-build if that's what you so prefer, where you just plug it in, play it, and it works just fine right out of the box. PCs are far from inaccessible too. I mean, they're getting cheaper and cheaper every day. It's easier and cheaper to get into PC gaming than ever before.
you can buy a console, expect like all the games for it to like run really well.
Are you sure you can expect like all the games to run like really well on consoles? All of them? 'Cause like I don't think that's reality. Like I can come up with like probably like 5 like games like off the top of my head that actually run at 60 FPS on consoles. And that's decent frame rate for me. If you think that they like run like well, like all of them, then you have like really low standards. For example, Fallout 4 runs like dog shit on all of the consoles. Yes, PS3, Xbox 360, Xbox One, PS4, all of them. But let me stick to current gen consoles. So Fallout 4 runs like dog shit, PUBG runs like dog shit, basically any Assassin's Creed game runs like shit. GTA 5 is known to not hit 60 FPS all the time, and that's even at 720p. It's almost like paying for cheaper hardware is not the best way to go when it comes to performance. In any event, any game that you can play on the console can be outperformed on the PC. Sure, you can expect games to run on consoles, run like a one-legged man tripping on Tide Pods, literally and figuratively. But that's really all you can expect out of a console. You can move pixels on a screen eventually.
And you don't have to worry about like technical things. They're just so much more accessible, and that's their appeal and why they're not going anywhere. People.
By the way, these are going to be the same people that are going to send in their console for something really minor, not know what the fuck is going on with their console, and then be told and taken advantage of by other people that something so major is wrong with the console that they have to get it either replaced or pay hundreds of dollars to fix it, and the consumer will be none the wiser. Regardless of if you have a PC or a console, you should still know the basics of what's in your console so you know what could be wrong with it when you take it in.
People aren't just gonna like stop buying consoles because you can get the same result on PC. It's just not gonna happen.
Same result on PC? The exact same? Have you never seen a game being played on a PC in your life? Do you even own a PC? The difference is night and day, and I feel too lazy to go over all the differences with you right now. But the big three glaring differences on PC are the graphics, the frame rate, and the freedom.
Like, it's interesting to see just how like devoted PC gamers are to like PC gaming exclusively. They refuse to like touch any sort of like console gaming.
It's not that we refuse to touch any console gaming. Hell, I have a console. I even play console with my friends. Thing is though, we advocate for getting a PC because of the pro-consumer, pro-gamer aspect of it. Again, we're not fanboys for the PC itself, it just has ideals that we look up to. Ideals that are met only by the PC and not by consoles. We like freedom, we like frame rate, and we like graphics, and we like everything that the PC has to offer, so that's only a plus to our ideals. That, and we've got a huge library of games, and they're cheaper. You know, the list goes on and on and on. If gaming was meant for consoles, then consoles aren't doing it right. We oppose the practices of Sony and Microsoft and even Nintendo at this point because of the way that they're treating their consumers, the way that they're treating gamers. Charging for online, charging $60 a game, not allowing any freedom on their consoles, not allowing indie developers to develop freely for their consoles. Things like AAA marketing, things like exclusive deals going on behind the scenes to make sure that the gamers are forced to go onto a certain console because a game is being held hostage. I mean, that alone is enough to divide gamers. I mean, everything that consoles and their corporations stand for is the exact antithesis of what we like as gamers. Hell, even as consumers.
Thing, and it's like it leads to like really weird situations, like the whole Stardew Valley thing. When that came out, PC gamers like were like acting as if like a game like this had never existed before. They had never seen something like this. It was like something completely new and unique to them, and it was like the greatest thing ever. It was a Harvest Moon ripoff. Harvest Moon has been a franchise that's been around for like 20 years.
First of all, no gamer has ever said that Stardew Valley is the first of its kind. I mean, obviously farming simulator games have been around. It's a whole genre. I mean, just come on, look at Farming Simulator. That was released in 2013. But just because there's another game in the genre doesn't mean the game that comes afterwards is a ripoff of that game. I mean, just look at the zombie genre. There are thousands of zombie games out there. Are you gonna tell me that the first one is the only real zombie game out there? But see, the main reason why Harvest Moon didn't get as much attention as Stardew Valley is because Harvest Moon is a mediocre game at best. That, and it's not surprising anybody, it has been around for 20 years and there's no real outroar about it. Harvest Moon got a 73% on game rankings, and all across the board, Stardew Valley has 88%, or 8 out of 10, or 8.5 out of 10, or 8 out of 7 out of 10, even a few 9 out of 10s out there. It won 2 awards, and was nominated for 11 more in the same year it was released. And in many respects, it is a new kind of game. It's new, it's fresh, and it has a lot new mechanics. And frankly, a lot will call it a labor of love. But all of these other reasons aside, the number one reason why Stardew Valley was a hit among PC gamers was because Harvest Moon never made it to PC. There was one Harvest Moon game that was released 20 years after the first one. Even still, it's not as popular and hasn't gotten much attention. So, damn, why would PC gamers be really loving a game that is, first of all, popular, and second of all, a game that is new, fresh, and hasn't been held away for 20 years? I mean, come on, you can't really blame us, can you?
And like there are a lot of entries that are a lot better than Stardew Valley, I can tell you that. Like even like Harvest 64, like the second game in the series is like better.
Okay, I gave a good 5 minutes trying to understand what game he just mentioned there, and I even tried googling like Parta 64, Harta 64. I've never heard of the game, and nobody else has either. Now, I hate to misrepresent your ratings on the game, but I'm pretty sure you're just saying that just to boost your own subjective argument. Gamers on PC are just too narrow-minded. They need to open their minds and make sure that they play all kinds of games and not be the elitists that they are. Now, even though I don't have the ratings for that game, let me just go off of what other people say. You say that Harta 64 is better than Stardew Valley, and that's your own opinion, I suppose. But out of 72,000 Steam reviews, 97% say that it's a good game and would recommend it to their friend. 97% of 72,000 people as of today. I mean, yeah, take Steam reviews with a grain of salt, but holy shit, 97%. You're going to be very hard-pressed to find 72,000 people, 97% of which would like that game that you just mentioned. Unless, of course, it really is as good of a game as you say it is. Still, I couldn't even find the game on Google. Maybe I misheard it? I don't know. I tried every combination I could. But I digress. You're just using these arguments because you want to show how closed-minded these PC gamer rascals are, even though your argument is not only subjective, but also doesn't seem to be supported by anybody else.
I need to play the first. I need to like think about whether that is better than like Stardew Valley or not. But
oh, so you're one of those hoes that like to skip to the second game, huh? Well, you must be very closed-minded if you didn't want to play the first game first.
it just goes to show you just how like just
Must. Process. Argument.
how like narrow-minded these people are. They refuse to like look at anything outside of their very narrow worldview. Like to them,
Well, here's a conflicting argument. You brought up 2 games, one of which had one game available on the PC. The other one I have no fucking clue if it exists or not. Yet you bring these 2 games up and you call us ignorant and narrow-minded because we've never played the games or we don't have an opinion about those games. But it's people like you who also say that only about 25% of PC games are actually worth checking out because the other 75% are indie pieces of shit. Now this makes no sense to me. It just seems like you want to shit on PC gamers just to shit on PC gamers. I mean, have you ever played Stardew Valley? I haven't, and I'll never say it's a good game till I try it, but 97% of 72,000 people say it's a good game, so, I mean, what else can you say about it?
like IGN giving like the PC version of Prey specifically a bad review is like an attack on their credibility as like the hardcorest of gamers, you know?
An attack on our credibility? What do you even mean by that? We don't get any credibility from our games, you know that, right? For those of you who don't know, IGN reviewed Prey and gave it a 4 out of 10 because they encountered a game-breaking bug, and because of that bug simply didn't want to recommend it to any other person, which is understandable. Other than the fact they may have been using shitty hardware to test the game anyway, but, you know. The game has since been patched and optimized, so now they're giving it an 8 out of 10, which I think is a fair score. But I think we all should come to terms nowadays that gaming journalism is a joke. I would listen to the 72,000 people who actually played Stardew Valley and reviewed it instead of listening to IGN or PC Gamer or whoever the fuck reports on these reviews nowadays. I mean, sure, they're good to go to as, you know, a second source, but maybe actually go to the community first. That's why I usually bring up Steam reviews or, you know, community reviews from Metacritic and other stuff like that. Instead of, you know, gaming journalist shills who are basically given the game to review for free.
It's like
Harmon might be in trouble. He's looking at someone in his room. Call the number on your screen right now and help this man.
the game really doesn't run well. Like let them give it a low score, you know? Like I wouldn't be mad if like
Well, if you're using shitty hardware to play the game and review the game that you're playing, then yeah, why would you review the game if you're not playing it at its maximum potential? Whether it was a game-breaking bug or poor optimization or whatever the fuck IGN wants to call it, it was obviously after some backlash that IGN re-reviewed the game and magically gave it a higher score. Gee, it's like the gamers are the ones you should be listening to about what is good and what isn't, not these gaming journalist shills. Again, gaming journalism is a joke nowadays. Even so, if it was the developer's fault, well, it's fixed now.
I think they did give lower scores to like Batman Arkham City on Wii U and Assassin's Creed 4 and that kind of thing. It's because those games did noticeably run worse, and they kind of deserved it, I guess.
I think you're reading every gamer's mind right now. Of course they deserve those lower scores. I mean, it's not like the Wii U comes in all sorts of different shapes and sizes. Despite the Wii U being a very poor performing console with quotes, the game in and of itself didn't run well, and of course that is understandable why it would get a low score.
None of them were unplayable, unlike Stray, apparently. But
Alright, I think it's becoming very noticeable now that you're just gonna shit talk games that you haven't heard of personally, but you're gonna take the word of IGN in order to boost your own claim. I can take a safe bet and say that you didn't play Stardew Valley. I can also safely assume that you didn't play Prey. So I wonder why you're using games you haven't even played yourself, and you're using them to shit talk PC gamers because they're closed-minded, stupid heads. Because I find it very interesting that you're judging other gamers based on the games that they play that you haven't played yourself. Sounds a lot like other console peasants I know that will shit talk PC games without having played half of them. Because we all know Call of Duty, Battlefield, all these AAA games are where it's at. That's where the real gamers go.
but it was like a well-deserved score, and like nobody like came out and like shit on them for it.
Well, because nothing's there to shit on. It's a Wii U port. What do you expect?
Unless you like outright came out and said the game was unplayable, because those games were not unplayable on Wii U. They were just not as good.
I want to give him the benefit of the doubt and say that he actually took the time to think about what just came out of his mouth when he said that. But okay, let me tell you something here, buddo. Alright, less than 30 FPS is a slideshow. You might as well be playing it on PowerPoint. To ever dare say that a game running at less than 30 FPS is near playable is unheard of. Oh, but that's just me being a high standards PC gaming elitist. Too bad it cost me a whopping $450 to get a decent gaming experience. By the way, I'm not patient enough to just listen to him stammer and stutter, so I'm gonna do a lot of skippage ahead.
It's too early to say if like there's anything seriously wrong with the Prey game, but according to IGN here, it really does seem like there's something seriously wrong there. Like Bethesda has a history of like releasing these really shitty, unfinished games and then like patching more stuff in them, like finishing them like after they're out, and it's just that is unacceptable. You can't like justify it the way.
So his main point, he doesn't know if it was Bethesda's fault, but he assumes it was because of the history of Bethesda. Now he's gonna go on a tangent about the gaming media.
That is unacceptable. You can't like justify it the way like the vast majority of the gaming media has been doing as like being part of the fun. Like, I love seeing all these glitches. I love seeing how the game fucks me over. I love how this like shit. Yeah.
See, he keeps giving me false hope. He keeps making me think that something clicked in his head that maybe he shouldn't be making this video. But that's never happening. Look, Harland, nobody is saying that they like glitches or like bugs. Nobody's saying that. And if they are, well, they might be mistaking that game for Goat Simulator. And here you go again, making shit up and talking trash to prove your own point. But this is a straw man. And really, you haven't known anything about Bethesda, have you? With your track record of talking shit about games you have never played, I think you're setting a trend here. By no means am I calling Fallout 4 a good game. Well, vanilla, that is. It still doesn't justify him making shit up just to back his own arguments.
We saw a lot of this during like Fallout 4's like reveal where like who was it? It was Rooster Teeth, I think, who were like talking about how like the glitches were like all part of the fun and why they gave the game like a glowing review or whatever. And I was just like, oh, this is what like gaming media has like fallen to. Like,
again, you've probably never played Fallout 4 before, so I won't consider you an authority on the matter. But if you're just now coming to the conclusion that gaming media is a joke, well, congratulations, you won. I really hope he gets back on track though, and I have no clue how he got derailed from his original conversation that PC gaming is dead. But we're just taking the scenic route.
Weird way, although I hate IGN, I always will. They're probably one of the better ones out there because I don't see them like putting like Emily Rogers rumors, for example. I don't see them like picking stuff up like other people do. I don't see them like clickbaiting as much. That's very much like a Polygon, Destructoid, DualShockers thing. IGN doesn't really do that.
Gaming media is and always will be gaming media. Just like all kinds of other media, they sensationalize everything. IGN doesn't do it any less than Polygon or Destructoid or PC Gamer or any other news outlet out there. They're just big companies with opinions. That's all they are. See, you usually hate IGN, but when they back up what you're trying to say, well, that hate goes away real fast, doesn't it? And that, ladies and gentlemen, is exactly how everyone else uses the media.
I guess they don't really need to, since they're like the biggest gaming website out there, I believe. I'm sure they are. They're IGN, Internet Gaming News.
Wow, you really like judging people based on their names, don't ya? And actually, it's not Internet Gaming Network, it's Imagine Games Network. And this company is a subsidiary owned by J2 Global. It just goes to show what kind of a media outlet IGN is. It's huge, it's well known, it's popular, there's even a meme about it, 8 out of 10 IGN. You can go on and hate IGN all you want, well, until it suits your needs of course, but at least get the name right.
They suck, but there's much worse out there, and I'm glad to see them like come out and like talk down about a big release this way and like show people that there are issues with like these big high profile games that other people aren't willing to like come out and criticize, you know, because like they're scared like the publisher is gonna like come down on them hard.
Yeah, that's why you take those big gaming media outlets with a grain of salt, because they're all basically shills. But that's why you listen to the gamers, the people who have actually played the game. You know, Steam reviews, Metacritic user reviews, YouTubers even. Well, that's where his video ends. Yeah, I know, right? That's a really weird way to end a video. Just, hey, that's all I wanted to say, bye. That may have been what you got from his video, but from my video, I'm actually gonna ease you out of my video. Well, he didn't stay on topic very long, did he? He talked some shit about some PC gamers, telling them they were closed-minded, and then just somehow strayed right into the gaming media, which is something I didn't really want to cover, but I guess I covered it, so there we go. Anyway, the guy's stupid, plain and simple. Also, he might benefit from a script. I'm pretty sure someone told me that at one point, but I'm pretty sure I'm doing fine without one. Way better than this guy anyway. Well, that's it for this video. If you want to ask me some questions, get in touch with me, or whatever, then Discord's the way to go. I'm always on there, and that's the easiest way to get in touch with me. I've got a huge community going on now with the Z community. You can find that on the YouTube page now. It's up at the top right with the channel links. I hope to see you there. I thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.